Hey you! Do you want to learn how to make a custom functional health bar which comes with a place you can edit the scripts in? Then make sure to watch all the way to the end. Hey guys, what's up? I'm CovertCode, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how you can make a custom health bar. So let's get straight to it. The first thing that you need to do is actually design it. Okay, so I'm thinking we can have like a custom health bar somewhere right here maybe. You can make it wherever you want. Um, by the way, keep in mind that in the description below, you're gonna have the place file completely available for free. So you can just download that and use it, okay, and see the code, learn from it, tweak it, and hopefully use it in your game. So the first thing we need to do is create a screen GUI. So what this is just a container for your interface, okay? If you don't know what that is, it's fine. I'm gonna show you. Let's call this health, okay? It's important to make it organized like your game. Now we're gonna make a image label. I'm gonna show you what this is very soon. And we're gonna click on this decal here, copy the texture. I made this for you guys. So yeah, paste this in the image and make the background transparency 1. See? Now this is going to give us the shape. And as you can see, this is very like blurry. We don't want this. So that's why we're going to 9 slice it, is what that's called. So this is just a technique user interface designers use, but you don't have to know what that is. Just know that it makes them look really nice and sharp. Okay? So we're just gonna drag this out. Maybe that's not a bad size for the health bar. Something like uh, this is good. Yeah. So that's gonna be your health bar. And obviously, I mean, kind of, most health bars are red. So we want to change the color. So you just go to image color tree, okay, and just color it like this. That's not a bad color. So I'm just gonna use that color. So let's call this container, okay. Now we're gonna copy and paste inside, okay, and make the 0, 0, 0, 0. We're just gonna reset the position, okay, and this is gonna be slightly darker. Yeah, something like that. So this is the thing, like the bar, which goes up and down. So like if you have 0 health, it's gonna be like this. If you have 80 health, it's gonna be like this, okay? But if you have 50, it's gonna go down somewhere there, okay? So let's just leave it like that. And let's call this bar, okay? So now I think I'm gonna add a UI gradient because we want this obviously to look the best it can. And what this does is just adds a bit of, I mean, like color progression like this. It goes from bright to dark, okay? But we want this to be the other way around. So like 180. So it starts dark, goes light, um, the further out it goes. So it's gonna be like this basically. Might want to make this a bit lighter because something like that maybe. Because you obviously can tweak this as much as you want. It's fine. I'm just trying to make this look the best it can for this video. So that's not bad. That's good. Um, so now we actually need to add a text. So like the percentage. You have 50% health or like 20, that text. So let's make this transparent. Change the size from scale. I mean from offset to scale. So 0.10, 0.10. See how this went from offset to scale. Okay, that's basically the thing. Like if you go to test and click device, you can see how this looks, okay, on every device. And now, as you can see, this is not scaling properly now, is it? Because this is offset. So what we need to do is obviously change that. So let's make this 0.1, 0.10. And let's make this 0.1, 0.10 like that. And now we can drag it along to the size we want. So something like this, okay? And same thing for this guy, but we want this to be that and something like that. That's not bad, yeah. So now if we go to test and device and just shift through these different devices, we can see that on every single device, including mobile phones and tablets, it will look the same. Okay, that's the importance of scale compared to offset. So now we're just going to drag this to the entire length of the health bar, and text scaled, basically, depending on the size of your screen, this text is going to change. Okay, so like the bigger the text label frame thing is, the bigger the text gets. Okay, and we're going to make this white. Oh, my bad. You have to click OK. And change this to something nice like Source Sans Bold. Whatever you want, just change it to something nice. And make this 0%. Okay? Now, we might want to make this a bit smaller and center it like that. And maybe something like that. So this is how it's going to look. Okay? So imagine this. It just goes up and down like this. And this obviously changes as well, like the text. Okay? So let's just call this %. And if you want to really tell them what this is, you just copy the text and say health or something. I mean, this is completely optional. You could just leave this out, but you know, why not give them some clarity, I guess. So now what we're gonna do is make this actually work. Okay, so we're gonna add a local script, and we're gonna call this main or something. And I like to just write my name at the top. You can change this. That's just good practice, I guess. So you're gonna make this reset on spawn. That's very important, because if it doesn't reset on spawn, then imagine you had like 100 health and then you died and it went down to 0. Okay, if you respawn, it's gonna stay at 0, the GUI. Okay, so we're just gonna go to main, and we're just gonna define some variables. Wait, I forgot to rename this title. Okay, so local GUI equals script.parent. Okay, this is the script, and this is its parent. It's inside of health. Okay, so script.parent is GUI. Then we're gonna make, and we're gonna declare container. So GUI dot container. That's what container is. Okay, so local percent equals container dot percent. Container dot percent. Okay, and local bar equals container dot bar. Container dot bar. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait to declare the character. Okay, as in like we're gonna make sure that the character has loaded in before we actually how do I say this? Before we actually change the things, because then if the character doesn't load in, you're gonna get bugs and errors, okay, which you do not want, trust me. So we're just gonna put this down a bit. Local player equals game.players.local player. So this just references your player. So like when I play, wait for it to load. This is local player for me. If your name is Joe, for example, and Joe joins the game, your local player is going to be Joe. Okay. So now we're just going to make local character. Okay, so the character is the actual object that you see. This guy here is my character. Okay. So it's player.character. Okay, that's important. Or player.character added weight. Okay, so what this does is it defines character as either the character which is already in existence, okay, so like the character which is actually in the game, okay, or it waits for it to be created, okay. Okay, and basically this just makes sure that your character doesn't get just make sure it loads in, basically. So this is just very important. Okay, so now we need the humanoid. Okay, so what that is basically like a little folder inside your character, which is this, which has all the different settings, like how much health you have, how much you can jump, like how high you can jump. It's here, like jump power. If I make this 90, I can jump higher. If I make this 150, I can jump even higher. Okay? But what we need is health and max health. So this is basically 100 on 100 right now. If I make this 200, it's now half of my health. Okay? So if I make this 200, now it's full. So that's what you need to know to make this. So humanoid equals character, wait for child, humanoid. What wait for child is it waits for the humanoid to actually exist before continuing with the script. So if humanoid never exists, this part of the script never gets ran. Okay? But it should always run because there's always going to be a humanoid in your character, or else, well, you die. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change the percent. Okay, let me just make a function for this. Local function change health. So what a function is, whenever I call this bit here, it's going to do whatever I have inside of this function here. Okay, so we're going to change health. Okay, and now humanoid dot health changed connect function. Connect change health. Okay, so whenever your health changes, this gets ran. Okay, so like we're gonna print. Okay, whenever the health changes. So obviously, as soon as you load in, your health is gonna change. It's gonna make sure you actually spawn in with full health. But now, say I take a bit of damage. Okay, like 35. It's gonna print again because my health changed. Okay, so every time my health changes, we want to change the percent text here and this there, the bar and the percent text. So we might want to make these guys up here. Yeah, okay. Because obviously we need to reference them, and if they're below the function, to the function, I guess it won't exist, but you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure these guys are above the function. Okay, so percent, and obviously, by the way, once the health change, actually, never mind, I'm just not even going to cover that because that might confuse you guys, but percent dot text, the text is this, pretty much. Text is 0% for percent, okay? So the text is equal to humanoid dot health dot dot, meaning you're going to continue with something else, and we're going to continue with a string, which is the percent text. Okay, so now if you click play and actually go to humanoid, which is this in our character, okay, and change this to 35, this guy is going to change 15, 70, 50, it's going to keep changing. But the one thing which is not changing is this guy here, the bar. Okay, so now let's change that. So let me just do that really quick. Bar.size, the size is this guy here. Okay, the offset and the scale. So see how whenever I change this, only the x axis, the x size, this guy, wait, let me just yeah, something like this. If you know what, like if you do maths, you know what the x and y axes are. If you don't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just to the right and to the left, really. That's what the x axis means. So only that changes. The higher the health you have, the more to the right it will go, right? And the lower the health you have, the more to the left it will go. Okay? So what we're gonna do is use a simple formula that I'm gonna teach you guys. So bar.size equals udem2.new. So what udem2 is basically this here. Scale and offset for both x and y. Okay? So don't get confused if you don't get what that is. All you need to do is this. So let's make this 0, 0, 1, and 0. Okay? The reason there's a 1 here is because this is always going to be 1. See how when I move this, the 1 doesn't change regardless of how far you move it? Okay? That's why it's always a 1. But this guy is going to change. Okay? So it's going to be formula. Okay, and now we're going to define what formula is. Okay, it's going to be humanoid.health divided by humanoid.maxHealth. Okay, so basically, if you wanted to get the percent of a number, you just define the. I mean, like, say you have. Let me just try and like teach you guys this. Um, say you wanted to get 25. Okay, what percentage is 25 of 100? Okay, so what you would do is divide 25 divided by 100. Okay, and then you'd multiply it by 100 again. Let me show you this. Print 25 on 100. Okay, that's 0.25. It's 25%. So like if you multiply this by 100, it's 25%. Okay, so let's change this to 150, for example. 25 is 16. Well, that's 16.7% of 150. Okay, so that's what this formula does. But since we don't need it to be 16 point something, we need this to be 0 point something, yeah? And if we just do this, just divide it by the number, it's going to give us 0 point something. If we change this to 100 again, it's going to be 0.25. Make this 50, it's going to be 0.5, okay? So that's what we literally just did here. And now, if you do this, let me just change the health again. We're just going to go to health and change it to 55. See how it just instantly went there? And if I show you the bar size, so let's just find the player's UI. This, see how it's 0.22? That means our formula is working because this is 22%. Okay, we could just divide the health by like 100, like this guy here, just by 100, but that will not always hold true on if your max health is more than 100. Okay, so if I make this, actually never mind, just believe in the formula, guys. Just believe in the formula. Okay, it works, trust me. But now I want to make this a bit nicer. Obviously, I want this to slowly go up and down, not just boom, 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 boom like that. You know, I want this to be smooth and nice. Okay, so what we're gonna do is instead of just directly changing the size instantaneously, we're going to use something really cool called tween size. Okay, so tween size, I'm going to tell you guys what these things are. Wait. Bar tween size, udem2.new, formula 0, 1, 0, trim out, and then easing style linear, and we're going to say 0.25 seconds. Okay, so what this is you're gonna give it the size that you want to, I guess, change to, and these are just variables you can change. Like, ignore this, you don't have to know what this is. But this is the style. Okay, so if I make this, let me show you what this does first. So this is linear. Okay, it's just gonna change the size slowly and just get to wherever you wanna go. Wait, this seems to have frozen, huh? Okay, now it's loading. So now if I go to humanoid, and change this to 55, see how it went down slowly? But now if I change this to bounce, for example, okay, it's gonna bounce the health according to our, let me just show you guys. According to what we told it to do. So instead of linearly tweening, we call it, it's gonna, sorry, I had to pause. So I don't know what I was saying, so I'm just gonna like start from the beginning, I guess. Let's just see how it just bounced, because we said bounce. If we said linear, this would just go down like that slowly and stay there. Since we said bounce, it's gonna boop like that and find its place eventually. Okay, so that's what that does. But we want to keep this linear because it's neater, I guess. You can change this to like whatever you want. If you like press dot, it tells you all the different styles you can use, but I prefer linear. So it's just really up to you. And now, just to prove that this health bar works like fully, we're just gonna reset. It went down to 0, and now if I respawn, it should go back up to 100. Yep. And now we're just gonna put it at 55, 33. Just basically take damage, and as your health regenerates, if we wait a bit, I hope it regenerates actually. Not sure if that still happens. But basically, over time, your character should regenerate its health. But I don't think that's happening for some reason. Uh, Regardless, this will work for any situation, okay? For any game, this will work. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget that the tutorial place is in the description below. And yeah, it's free, and you can just go take the GUI if you don't really want to learn and use it. Or just tweak the code and learn. Okay, so thank you guys for watching.